We'd ask that everyone silence their cell phones as we will be calling the 6th meeting of the House Standing Committee on Local Government to order at this time. For legislators that are participating via Zoom, please remember that you may only vote from your annex offices or otherwise on the Capitol campus. So you must be in your annex office or on the campus to vote. Any audience members, if you wish to speak on a bill, please sign in. And know that there are no signs permitted in the committee rooms. Also, next week, I just want to say ahead of that, we will be in this room starting with the CDBG grant first in a joint session with the Senate committee. We will remain in this room afterwards, but if all members of the committee would be here promptly next week or a few minutes early, we want to get that over with, and so we can move on to our business that we'll have as well. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bentley, Representative Bray,
Present in the room.
Representative Brown,
Present in the room.
Representative Dixon,
Present in the room.
Representative Donahue,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Representative Fleming, Representative Frazier Gordon,
Present in the room.
Representative Huff,
Present in the room.
Representative Imes,
Present in the room.
Representative Johnson,
Present in the room.
Representative Koenig, Representative Lockett,
Present in the room.
Representative Marzian, Representative Miller, Representative Reed,
Here.
Representative Roberts,
Present in the room.
Representative Thomas,
Present in the room.
Representative Meredith.
Present in the room. We do have a quorum and are duly constituted to do business. We will start and go along with the agenda today. So House Bill 239, Representative Koenig, if you would proceed to the table, bring any guests that you have up, and if you all would recognize yourselves for the record, then you may proceed with your testimony. Okay. We are sharing the screen at present, but once your presentation is over, could you please stop sharing the screen on the PowerPoint?
Sure. I feel like I know what that means and how to do it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. A fun but familiar bill, House Bill 239. Let me have my guest introduce yourself.
Brianna Carroll, Director of Public Affairs for the Kentucky League of Cities.
Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, House Bill 239 addresses an issue that we have discussed for several years, the need to ensure constables who make arrests and traffic stops, respond to crime scenes and potentially dangerous situations are all trained and qualified. This is the same bill that this committee in this House passed last year. There are more than 500 constables in Kentucky, yet only 2 have Peace Officer Professional Standards or POPS certification, meaning they have met the same training requirements as police officers and sheriff's deputies. It's important for the safety of our communities and trained law enforcement officers that anyone with a badge and a gun who can take you into custody, initiate a pursuit, or even use deadly force is someone who is instructed on how and when to use these tactics. We've had too many incidents in the state of constables going too far or skirting the law, and these cases just continue. Just 4 months ago, a federal judge sentenced a Pulaski County constable to 11 years for planting drug evidence. Is that the same one that shot an FBI agent, I think, also? So now we have a man convicted of trafficking in a controlled substance running for constable in Campbell County because the former governor pardoned him. We need to pass this bill to ensure our citizens do not have their civil liberties infringed upon by people who are not trained, law-abiding citizens. It's important to stress that House Bill 239 does not remove the position of constable. The bill does not stop constables from serving their community. The bill does not impact any current constable or deputy constable. Let me repeat that. This bill does not impact any current constable or deputy constable. They can still serve summons and subpoenas, collect fees for service, direct traffic and provide funeral escorts, aid in destroying diseased animals and impounding unlicensed dogs, and all the other duties that were outlined when the position was first created in 1850. And I will let Brianna Carroll from the Kentucky League of Cities provide more detail.
Not only does House Bill 239 grandfather the current constables and their deputies, but the bill has a delayed effective date of January 1, 2023. This ensures the changes will only impact the untrained constables who begin their first term after the 2022 election. Certified constables will be allowed to utilize blue lights on their vehicles without requiring approval from the fiscal court, as long as they maintain their certification and do not abuse the authorization. Additionally, House Bill 239 provides constables a path to receive certification. The bill specifies that constables can apply to any Kentucky Law Enforcement Council certified basic training course, including Lexington, Louisville, Bowling Green, and the state police. And the bill requires the Department of Criminal Justice Training to accept at least one qualified constable each training class. DOCJT averages 10 classes per year with approximately 30 recruits in each class. The Department of Criminal Justice Training knows of only one constable who applied to the academy over the past 5 years. Additionally, only 13 constables have applied to DOCJT in-service classes. The provision to accept one qualified constable per DOC training class was added despite a wait of several months of newly hired police officers and sheriff's deputies. We feel it is important that the people who are enforcing our laws in our communities be trained, certified law enforcement officers. We have had several conversations with current constables and the Constables Association over the past several years as we have worked on this bill, and we want to stress that we know that not all constables are bad. Not all constables exercise peace officer powers, and this bill will not impact those that do not. People speaking against the bill will claim there are bad actors in other law enforcement, and we acknowledge that, which is why we continue to take steps to deal with police issues. In 2019, the legislature passed House Bill 191, which established a process to decertify troubled police officers. Last year, you all strengthened this measure by passing Senate Bill 80. Both of those measures were championed by cities. House Bill 239 addresses constables, whose peace officer powers are statutorily granted, not constitutionally. This bill will make our community safer, and we ask for your support.
Mr. Chairman, I know that everyone's heard this bill last year, and it's been talked about a lot, and so we will not continue. We're happy to answer any questions.
Do have a question from Representative Bray.
So this, just so for clarity, doesn't impact any current constable and won't impact any constable after the 22 election.
Anyone holding office,
After the
constable office, by the end of this calendar year
Okay.
will be completely grandfathered in and have all the same abilities and powers they have now.
Okay. Just so I do think the timing on this is much better than last year, just because, with the election, constables serve for 4-year terms. So we have 4 years for any new constable think about running in the future to get trained, to get certified. And I do know you've made a lot of concessions on this. I know we spoke about it quite a bit last year, and I still see a lot of my recommendations in there. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Representative Marzian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks, Adam, for bringing this again. When you read through the infractions over the last 5 years, it's pretty horrendous what these folks have done. And I know in the past we've worked on a constitutional amendment to kind of delete the office. And I think we must have had a lot of pushback, because I think I supported that in the past too. So what happened there?
Yes, ma'am. I've downshifted into this, and that was the ultimate goal, was to make sure that untrained individuals were not able to exercise these powers. My guess is you'll hear from the opponents who say, well, this is just going to destroy the position, and it will mean the end of constables. I don't believe that to be the case, and I can assure you and everybody else that after attempting to pass some level of this for, I think this is year 13 maybe, that I will be done with constables going forward.
Thank you. Motion on the bill.
I have a motion, Representative Marzian, second, Representative Roberts. Do I have any other questions? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bray,
Yes.
Representative Brown,
Yes.
Representative Dixon,
Yes.
Representative Donahue,
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Fleming,
Yes, ma'am, and record me as being here in the room.
Representative Frazier Gordon,
Yes.
Representative Huff,
No.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Koenig, Representative Lockett,
Yes.
Representative Marzian,
And for the 13th year in a row, I think I'll vote yes.
Representative Miller,
Explain my vote. I just want to vote yes and compliment the representative from Boone 69 for his persistent diligence and finding a good way forward. I vote yes, and I am present here.
Representative Reed,
Pass.
Representative Roberts,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Pass.
Representative Meredith.
Yes. House Bill 239 does pass with favorable expression. Same shit on the House floor. Thank you all for your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
We'll now move on to House Bill 504, Representative Lockett. If you all will approach the table. I do want to welcome our guests today that we have for KLC Day here at the Capitol. I see several of those folks with those blue lanyards around their neck, and I know those are local city officials, either mayors or council members, and we want to welcome you here today. Representative Brown?
Yeah, I'd like to recognize the members of KVC Leo that are here, which is Kentucky Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials, and it is a pleasure to welcome them here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We welcome you to the committee as well. Representative Lockett, if you all will introduce yourselves for the record, and then you may proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Matt Lockett. I'm the state representative out of the 39th District.
J.D. Cheney, Kentucky League of Cities.
House Bill 504 is a very simple bill. I know we say that a lot, but this really is a simple bill. Back in 2020, this body passed a bill along with the Senate that mandated that special taxing districts, if they decided to increase their tax over the compensating rate, must seek approval through the city or county, such as the fiscal court. That particular statute is located in 65A .110. Throughout the bill 2 years ago, all of the references in the bill mandated that all of these taxing districts follow 65A .010 to 65A .090, leaving out the 65A .110. So all that House Bill 504 does is change all of those references throughout 65A to include the entire chapter of 65A in case this is added to later. We don't have to go back. It also adds a refund from January 1 of last year until now if a taxing district within the state did raise the rates beyond the compensating rate and did not seek approval using what could be used as a loophole as it currently sits. So that is basically House Bill 504. If you'd like to add anything?
Sure. And the leagues, I brought this to Representative Lockett. Some staff members had found that drafting a technical error with that not being included, because we've had many conversations about special purpose governmental entities and their accountability back to the cities and county governments that create them. And the intent in the 2020 legislation, Representative Alvarado got that through and put it through this committee as well, was to have that accountability between the agencies that city and county governments create when they're doing anything that affects a rate that the public's paying. So you got an elected official ultimately making a decision, and it gives the fiscal court and the city government some say-so in how that's being impacted. So we initially supported the legislation in 2013 that created SPGEs. This is a correction that needed to happen. I think the legislative intent was to ensure that, and then the compliance mechanisms just further strengthens the bill, and appreciate Representative Lockett being willing to correct this error.
I will say as well, I did speak to Senator Alvarado. He is on board with this, loves the bill, and is very supportive.
Thank you all very much. Do I hear a motion on the question, Representative King?
Can we get back to the retroactive part? We're going to give retroactive refunds to people who, for lack of a better term, overpaid when it was done legally under the current statute. Is that what I heard?
Yes. So as the bill states, if someone, and to be clear, I don't know of any instances where this has happened, where there's a taxing authority that increased rates beyond the compensating rate where a refund would be due. We put this in there because we see if they did raise beyond the compensating rate and did not seek that approval, that was not done legally. Even though this is somewhat of a loophole that's within the current statute.
It's either legal or it's not. I mean, and if the loopholes are, I mean, definitely, I mean, I'm going to support it, but that seems I mean, I'm not an attorney. I just play one when I get to Frankfurt, but that seems iffy.
Be careful. I think we passed a bill against that, Representative.
That's true. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I hear a motion on the bill? Motion, Representative Bray. Second, Representative Fleming. Any other questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bray,
Yes.
Representative Brown,
Yes.
Representative Dixon,
Yes.
Representative Donahue,
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Fleming,
Yes.
Representative Frazier Gordon,
Yes.
Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Koenig, Representative Lockett,
Yes.
Representative Miller,
Yes.
Representative Reed,
Yes.
Representative Roberts,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Meredith.
Yes, ma'am. House Bill 504 does pass with favorable expression. Same shit on the House floor. Thank you all for being here and for the presentation. We do not have any other business before the committee today. Would remind you again that next week we will be having a joint session with the Senate before we start our regular meeting for the CDBG hearing process. Please be here promptly for that. We will have it in this room. Seeing no other business, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion and second. All in favor say